No, I didn't write this one down. But almost every morning, Rick Andrews woke up with some song. And choir directors since I was 13 have asked me just to lip sync. So his appreciation of music and mine were a little different. He sang tenor and all the parts, and I lip synced and did not wake up with a song. This morning, much to my daughter Jessie's horror, I was singing Bind Us Together at the top of my lungs, walking around the house, trying to get ready to come over here. And I believe between family, college friends, colleagues, my buddies and his buddies, we need to bind together. A few months ago, I was working the soundboard for Rick during a memorial service for Ralph Eddy, a man Rick clearly knew I had never met. I listened during the service to the sharing portion and felt compelled to speak. Usually when I came forward during the announcement time, Rick knew in general what I was going to say. He always acted worried, but still gave me the microphone. On this day, he was standing right there, and he looked up, and he saw me boldly walking down the center aisle from my quiet assigned post in the back toward the pulpit. Many of us saw his very public look of what I would describe as concerned horror. I winked at him right at the bottom step, and I said, not to worry, I really will be good. He has sat this week over my shoulder, carefully watching as I chose my words for you. And I believe that he knows that during my last time at this microphone as the pastor's wife, I'll be good. More than anything, I wish each one of you could be sitting at my desk or answering my phone or at our kitchen table. You'd get to read and hear and see more expressions of respect and appreciation and undeniable love for one person than I ever thought was possible. And it's all, every word and gesture and tear for Rick Andrews. I know he is humbled beyond belief. After Sunday's Mill Creek Parish service, there was conversation about my sharing thoughts with his conference family. You have my word that in all of our imaginings did he ever think I'd be talking to the whole conference. But this gives me a chance to tell you how much he enjoyed his many years on the district committee in Boone. When his tenure ended, we teased each other about how we'd have to find other reasons to spend 4 very rare nights apart, since there would be no more candidate retreats. I didn't mean this. From his first typed conversation with this clearly prodigal member of a chat room on AOL, we became forever buddies with a whole different group of similarly prodigal sons and daughters. Rick's ministry changed my life. There are many signs of that. But there are no more precious gifts than you who have become family and treasured friends. Can I crash annual conference? I want to see your processions of celebratory stoles, and I want to keep hearing your glorious hymns without having to ring that mournful bell. I remain in awe of Rick's remarkable enormity of compassion and generosity of spirit, all founded in his rock-solid faith in God. He led without judging, repeated without frustration, forgave without strings, and loved without regrets. Rick was proud to have been, as he said so often, born of grace twice. He thought of himself as a country preacher. He admitted almost daily to being full of sin. Sounds pretty perfect, huh? Well, you try living with a guy who had at least 100 worshipers once a week, shake his hand, tell him how great he was, and how much they liked him. They were all correct, and I agree. But sometimes I wish I could say, but. I knew it. That wouldn't have been it. I won't share the golfing Rick, thank you too, or the Susan, what were you thinking, Rick? But to prove his potential to err, he was pretty sure theologically that cats and dogs do not have souls, and they did not cross any rainbow bridge and greet you in heaven. Especially after poor cat Roma died, I wasn't so sure Rick was right. He said that saying that one sentence out loud from right here to pet lovers was the fastest way for the SPRC to check that little box on the pastor's report card. Gone! It was at the moment that our next door neighbor was telling me that Rick had died, that I knew for certain I had. I drank that Kool-Aid. And in reality, Rick's task of turning me closer to God was done. Because I interrupted this sad recounting and asked the couple if they'd first let me pray. Out loud. It was me. Thanking God for every precious day with Rick. I asked for forgiveness for not being the wife I wish I had been. I asked for comfort for those who would all too soon join me in this hollow sadness. And I asked for family peace and fresh starts. My last request was for some sign, any sign, that when Rick arrived in heavens, dogs were yapping at his feet and his clothes were covered in cat hair. Or not. I'm still waiting. If he lets you know, somebody call me. Rick was positive that he had the best appointment in the conference. He had the same feeling about Mill Creek as he did about his beloved Brooklyn church, that he would rather preside over a church that wore out than one that dry rotted. Our congregation here is strong, it's growing, and it's filled with music, and children, and respect, and about the best staff any pastor could hope for. We were never worried about the next assignment, but he was excited that he hadn't become bored or run out of new ideas. He spoke about the future among his Mill Creek family with such passion. We prayed that he'd get to stay long enough to finish his dreams. Apparently, God thought he had. One of Rick's favorite expressions early on was, "It's all good." Years ago, I found a large metal rendering of those words, and it is hung quietly above the threshold in both of our houses. He stopped saying it very often, but it was kind of like a private code between us. If I ever doubted or feared, I would look at him with my pleading look. I'd say, well, every single time. He'd end all concerns with a strong and reassuring, yes, it's all good. I wish I could name you each, one by one. When I say that we are all going through uncharted territory right now, I don't think for a second that my grief, or the family's grief, or the grief you all are feeling ranks higher or lower than the others. God gave us all a precious gift. I love you, Rick Andrews. And I love this faith-filled village who has so wonderfully loved us. For 8 years and 3 days, Mill Creek Parish has been schooled and led and counseled and taught God's love by a walking, talking example. Please trust. Please trust. What we all know is true. Rick is exactly where he spent his life looking forward to being. We need together to mourn his loss, but mostly thank God that we shared Rick. I don't think it'll be easy, but we're a team. We'll get through this too. How can I be so sure? Because in my heart, I can hear Rick tell us that with God's grace, it's all good.
Thank you, Susan. Let us all stand and sing, Pass It On.